Fast money, Bitcoin crawling back above 8,000 today. And despite some of the recent crypto carnage, one industry is still betting big on the space, and that is hedge funds. Leslie Picker breaking it down for us back at CNBC HQ at the crypto desk. Leslie.
Hey, Brian, that's right. Crypto funds were a bright spot in the struggling hedge fund industry last year. And then, of course, the crypto sell-off took hold. So as cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin plunged in January, so too did many of the hedge funds that trade these things. New numbers out from HFR show that cryptocurrency funds declined 9.22% during the month. That compares with the broader hedge fund industry, which was up 2.82%, and the S&P 500, which gained 5.7%. So this is a 180 from last year, with crypto funds collecting more than $2 billion in assets under management and posting average performance of about 3,000%. By comparison, the best performing hedge fund we track gained a mere 77% last year. So is this still the alpha generating strategy that investors were clamoring for last year? Well, for one, crypto hedge funds need to be able to hedge or bet on the digital assets declines as well, while still generating those outsized returns. One fund is showing that it's actually possible to outperform even when Bitcoin slumps. Now take a look at this chart of Pantera Capital's digital asset fund, up 40% net of fees while Bitcoin traded lower. The firm's Bitcoin fund has returned a whopping 25,000% since it launched in 2013, and its ICO fund has returned 549% since July of last year. In fact, Pantera has become such a large player in ICOs that it's had to actually raise fees. You hear this, hedge fund guys? Raise fees to 2% management, 40% performance in order to reduce inflows, Brian.
That sounds like one of them good problems, Leslie.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of the aforementioned Pantera, the fund, not the band, let's bring in its founder and CEO, Dan Morehead. He used to work for hedge fund legend Paul Tudor Jones. And you got some pretty heady numbers there, Dan. And by the way, also, back, I think it was on mid-December, you said that Bitcoin could fall 50%. Well, guess what? You're almost exactly right. That's about what it's down from its high. So what's your strategy now?
Yeah, we're certainly aware it's a very speculative market, and it's volatile on the upside. It can be volatile on the downside. But we've had a 64% fall from its peak to the trough a couple of days ago, and that's actually exactly the average decline in the Bitcoin market over the last 7 bear market cycles. So the past doesn't predict the future, but it seems like this is about the right downdraft. The other stat to note is it typically has had on average a 71-day bear market, and we're 52 days into this. So it seems like another couple of weeks and everything be kind of normal, and it can start grinding back up.
Why? Why in a couple of weeks? What's going to normalize about this market then?
Well, I think the fundamentals are fantastic, and we can go over those separately. But there is such an institutional appetite to get exposure to this. It's a $500 billion asset class that nobody owns. That's a pretty wild circumstance. And it's also got a 0.1% correlation to the rest of the financial markets. Greg, in the last segment, was talking about risk on, risk off. Almost everything else in the world is highly, highly correlated, either close to +1 or -1. And Bitcoin is still so under-owned by institutional investors that it trades kind of its own beat.
Dan, it's Karen. Let me ask you something. How do you think about potential pending regulation? Is that a good thing, a bad thing for the space? What do you think?
It's a good thing. I think the U.S. regulatory bodies have done an excellent job. The IRS ruled on Bitcoin many years ago that it was property, and so you get long-term capital gains tax treatment if you hold it for a year. The CFTC has been very progressive about this, and now we have CME futures on Bitcoin. And the SEC's ruled a few things are securities and should be registered, but in general has allowed the market to develop. So the pace so far has been very good from the regulatory bodies, and a little more regulation is probably helpful.
Hey, Dan, you just mentioned futures being listed in early December. I mean, has that changed the game a bit? Has it made it easier for you to accept capital inflows and expand your capital base and put it to work?
Yeah, I think the futures are a very, very small part of the industry, and it's much like the fiat currency markets. It's almost all exclusively cash trading and not much in futures.
Hey, Dan, it's very interesting when you think about what's been developing on the platforms. I'm curious, what part of the whole crypto, is it the tokens or is it the platforms themselves and the developers on those platforms that gives you the most interest right now?
Yeah, so the big currencies are interesting to trade, and our long-short hedge fund does trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the big ones. But for my mind, the most interesting bit are these new protocol tokens, ICOs as they're called, because they're kind of like the small caps of the industry.
All right, well, the window just shut down. Dan, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much, Dan Moorhead of Pantera Capital. Those are not some bad numbers, guys.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, they're stunning, to be honest with you.
Well, and these guys were early advocates. To his credit, I mean, that's 2013. You know, if you see the admin of that fund, this isn't a guy that just jumped in lately. I mean, it's a fund that's a very well-known hedge fund that made a commitment to this a long time ago. Kudos.
4.5 years old is now a long time ago in crypto.
It's a lifetime.
I guess that's where we are. Anybody here? I mean, do they agree, disagree that things are going to calm down from here?
I think what Karen asked him about the regulation, when you hear guys like that who are accepting capital, charging 2 and 40, that they think that this is a asset class that they can grow, you know, to a $10 billion fund. I think they believe that regulation is actually their friend. It kind of helps them kind of tell their story to investors. So to me, BK's been saying this for a long time. There's a wall of institutional money coming, and that guy's there, and he's willing to take it from you.
You guys smell that? That's Bitcoin booming right now. Later.
A funeral at 7 a.m.? Jesus Christ, what is he trying to die before McDonald's breakfast is over? Look, Mom, this is prime trading hours. Tell Grandpa I love him and I'll miss him, but I gotta go. It's booming right now. I've not changed after doing Bitcoin, okay? I'm the same person, the same guy. Nothing about me at all has changed.
Later, if you ain't talking money, I don't want to talk. Oh, what's going on, Kyler? Tell me the good news. We're mooning? By that much? You just made me spit out my kale cocoa latte smoothie. You know how many Bitcoins are in this thing?
Mark, I'm not coming in tomorrow. Look, I know tomorrow's Christmas, but even if there was a work day, I wouldn't be coming in. Why? Because I am rich.
You guys smell that? Ah, that's the smell of being rich on a Saturday afternoon.
I am Steve Jobs, all right? I am Elon Musk. You think I should pull out when it takes its first dive? Yeah, you think after my first bullet wound I pulled out? No. Why? Because I've never been shot. But when I do get shot, you bet your sweet ass. You know what, Jerry? I used to deal with f***s like you every day at Jamba Juice. Oh, I want it more blended. Oh, I don't want chocolate. This. You indecisive f***s are what slows down my progress every day. And you know what? When I pull up to your house in a brand new 2018 Mazda 3, we'll see who should have pulled out. No, I'm not taking this dip in the market bad at all. I'm just hanging out, just going to a friend's house. I'm doing well. All right, I'll catch up. It's morning. It's morning. Brian, call Skyler, Luke, Deegan, and Brock. We're going to Buffalo Wild Wings tonight, baby.
Bitcoin is back.
What do you mean you don't know what HODL means? It means hold on for your damn life. That's the name of the game when it comes to Bitcoins, okay? Have you not checked the internet once this past week? You're out front? Okay. All right, I'll be right out. Guys, Uber's here. Let's go.
Oh, God, it smells poor out here. What am I, an Ensenada?
I don't want to make any promises, Ricky. I would never swear on the Bitcoin, but you play your cards right. I'm talking 2018 Honda CR-V. I'm talking backup camera. I'm talking seat warmers. You ever put fast food on a seat warmer? It's like fine dining, baby. Let's go. Whew. Fire me up.